Okay, on this episode of the podcast or whatever, I went up to Glassell Park in Los Angeles, and I met up with Nick Carvajal from the Runts. He's the singer and like the only original member from the band, and he was kind enough to give me an interview, which was super sick. So we talked about a bunch of shit, went to the skate park, had a session, and thank you for the hospitality, Nick. And the audio quality in this one is good throughout. So hope you guys enjoy the interview and Nick's kickflip. So enjoy. Okay, Naughty Pelican podcast, episode 3, coming at you. Got Nick here from the Runts. You know who it is. Just got back from a crazy tour and stuff. We'll talk about that later, but I don't know, I guess the first thing I kind of wanted to talk about was like where you grew up, like where you're from. Like, I know you say you're from around here, but like if you could kind of get into like the details of your like childhood, like kind of what got you into music, it's all that sort of thing.
Sure. So yeah, where we're at right now is Glassell Park. It's in Northeast LA. This is where I was born and raised. The only time I've ever left here was when I went to college. I went to Penn State for a couple years, and I got my computer science, a bachelor's in science for computer science there.
Smart guy over here.
No, not smart at all. Not smart at all. Just persistent, I guess. But yeah, so growing up here, I mean, it was a predominantly poor neighborhood. That's changed a lot these days.
All the hipsters live here now.
A lot of the hipsters live here now. I mean, it's for good and for bad, right? But,
totally.
That conversation in itself is it's its own fucking podcast.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, I mean, I primarily so my parents are both immigrants, and education was really important to them. They had this American
dream.
Yeah, they were so bought into the American dream, like the nuclear family kind of shit. So I have one other brother. He's a year younger than me.
Ivan?
Yeah, Ivan. He's actually the original drummer for the Runts. But yeah, so education was super important for my parents. And because of that, LAUSD back in the day didn't have a great reputation, especially the schools in this neighborhood. They were pretty ghetto, I guess.
Oh, I got you.
So my parents had my brother and I go to private school all our life.
Oh, nice.
And so that kind of afforded us a pretty unique experience growing up in the hood because of that education. My brother and I went to St. Francis, which is a all boy private high school in Locking out of Flint, which is
Is it a Christian school?
Yeah, exactly. It's a Catholic school, but rich as fuck people go up there or go there. It's kind of funny because I'm white passing, but going to that school was unique because I wasn't white passing there.
Yeah,
I was
totally. Oh,
I was going to school with white boys,
Yeah, exactly.
So it was kind of weird because I kind of had this unique experience where, when I would come home to my neighborhood, I get pulled over by cops all the time, or I get hit up all the fucking time. I've been shaving my head since I was 16 years old.
Yeah.
So, it's just, it goes with the look. But then when I'd go party with my friends in South Pasadena or Pasadena, the cops would pull us over, and I'd pull out my fucking St. Francis ID, and because of that,
they'd be all surprised.
They'd be oh, this guy's a good person, so let him go. It's just boys being boys. So I don't know. It allowed me to develop this unique perspective on a lot of the issues that people of color have. So that was something that kind of got me into the band at first. I mean, getting into punk rock at 15 or 16, it's mostly teenage angst, right?
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
You're kind of complaining about stupid shit, oh, my parents suck, you're not really concerned about the world. But as we grew up, we took notice of more important issues, and I mean that's primarily the driving force for why we do our music now. It's not just to part of it is selfish, right? I play punk music because I suck at everything else, but it like helps me deal with my anxiety, like
you know, totally.
Like,
it's an outlet.
Well, yeah, exactly. When I'm on the stage, like that's the main reason why I'm on there, is to get rid of my anxiety. I mean, I go to therapy too, you know.
Of course.
Like this is just a physical way of getting out my anger or frustration with life. But yeah, I mean, so now and even so when we were younger and like the Runts were kind of like popping off back in the day, that was like our driving force for being a band and why we wanted to identify as a band that like spoke out against like political issues or things that we thought were kind of like frustrating in our community.
To you guys, yeah, totally.
Yeah,
I think it's kind of interesting, like when I see like ACAB or whatever and all those things, I always think like, I wonder what kind of experiences that person's had with like racial like cops and stuff like that and whatnot.
Like, I've had like quote unquote, man, this is like hard to say, right? But like, I mean, when I was a kid, right, I kind of like felt like I was invincible. So I used to drive with like a 40 in my lap. I was like 17. I would drive with like a 40 in my lap and another 40 in the passenger seat. Obviously I'm like drunk, you know, but I'd be maybe like a mile away from home.
Yeah.
The cops would pull me over and, you know, quote, they were the cool cops because they kind of just let me go.
Yeah.
You know?
But I've had those.
But that's like superficial, right? Like that's not necessarily like who they are as people, because it's like ACAB goes further than that. It's like, you know, when a cop does something bad, right, and their partner turns a blind eye to that, then that person is being a piece of shit as well.
Exactly.
And I think that's what it encompasses, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's like a very fine line to tread.
So like going to like this predominantly like rich and probably like white private school growing up, whatever, did you ever get like bullied and shit for like were you ever like ostracized because of your like social class or anything?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Because I know like my dad, he grew up in Oxnard and he was also like immigrant son or whatever, and his parents are from Mexico, and he's told me this story before where like he would kind of get made fun of because of like the shoes he was wearing, because his parents couldn't afford to get new shoes.
Yeah.
And so they'd all be all beat up and shit, but that was just because of his class or whatever, and his parents couldn't afford like to buy him new stuff. So I don't know if you ever got made fun of because of the way you looked or like where you dressed or anything like that.
Yeah, definitely. So it's kind of funny because again, right, like, so right now we're going to like a skate park in Highland Park, but Highland Park back in the day, you know, was ghetto, right?
Yeah.
And I used to be made fun of for living here, but now, right, like homes back then were like, you know, selling for like $100,000 or whatever.
Yeah.
And now you can't find shit for less than $1 million.
Yeah.
You know, so like all the guys that used to make fun of me at St. Francis for being like brown and living in Highland Park and like going to punk shows, now
all living there.
Now fucking live in Highland Park.
Yeah.
Go to my fucking shows.
Oh my god.
Go to my fucking shows and like, now they're cool, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And like, I mean, to be fair, we are all young, right? And, you know, stupid, right? Like, as you get older, you become wiser. And so, like, I can't fault people for, like, you know, having those beliefs back then.
Yeah,
they were younger. They were younger. They were trying to fit in. They were trying to find their own identities, you know? Maybe there was some kind of jealousy in there because I kind of, like, did what I wanted to do, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just kind of funny how like the world goes full circle. You know?
I know,
like,
right?
I'm trying to buy a second home, and you know, now I can't even afford where the fuck I want to live.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? And for me, it's like Northeast LA or nothing. Like,
I got you.
I don't want to live anywhere else.
You're not moving anywhere else. Yeah,
I don't want to live anywhere else.
Yeah, I can feel that for sure. The localism and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But so like, how did you initially like get into like singing and stuff? Like, did you start singing, or was it like,
no,
did you start playing guitar, or like how'd you get into that? Like, who influenced you? What sort of influences were around you that kind of got you into doing that sort of thing, playing music and all that sort of thing?
My parents like signed me up for like guitar lessons, and I wasn't really like about it, you know. I was like, oh, this is kind of lame.
Yeah.
But you know, there was a guy so they signed us up for guitar lessons at a place called Ramona Hall. It's like a rec center in Highland Park. And the gentleman that was like the instructor there, his name was Raul.
Yeah.
He was cool as fuck. Some old ass fucking brown dude. He was just like, I don't know, like the way he like instructed us, it was like with like fucking passion for the guitars, you know?
Yeah.
And like I started realizing, like, I mean, I wasn't necessarily good at playing guitar, and I suck at singing all kinds of music.
I wouldn't say you suck at punk music. Well, you got a damn good voice.
Yeah,
man.
well, that's like, if I had to take a compliment, that's the only place I can take a compliment.
I got you.
You know, I can't sing anything else. But as I was taking this course, my brother was signed up on the drum side, so he was like learning how to be a drummer.
Yeah.
And then his best friend was also playing guitar, who was the original drummer for the Runts. And then my best friend at the time, Diego, he was the original bass player. He was doing like bass / guitar lessons. So we all got to a point where we kind of like graduated.
Yeah.
And like,
oh, got you.
And like Raul, our instructor, he was like, hey, so I'm gonna put you guys into a band, and you're gonna fucking play at the Ramona Hall Music Festival.
Oh, wow.
And I think the first song we did was like a Nirvana cover or something like that. But yeah, that's kind of how it started. It wasn't like, you know, I picked up a guitar and like I found some like social issue I wanted to like fucking, you know, be about.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a hobby kind of started between kind of 4 friends.
Yeah, and then, just bloomed into something crazier.
Exactly. So like, you know, they kind of liked us, and they liked what we were kind of making at such a young age. So they like let us rent out a room in this fucking rec center.
That's awesome.
And yeah, and it was like, I mean, you know, for my parents, it must have been a lot, but like now that I think about it, it was like, you know, $20 a week or something like that, and they just let us like fuck around and
jam and do that sort of thing. That's so cool.
So that's how it started.
Nice. I had a question. So where did the logo come from? The one, if you don't know, this guy right here. Yeah. Where did that dude come from?
So that one came from a homie named Alan. He actually does some of our art now still for like our flyers.
Oh, that's rad.
But fuck, I forgot if we had like a contest or he just like submitted it to us on our like MySpace page or something like that. And yeah, so we saw it, and I mean, you know, because we were like more closely aligned with street punk at that time, because that's what was really popular.
Yeah, totally.
You know, in the mid 2000s. So we're like, dude, this guy's fucking perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
Shit, you know,
just some crusty ass punk.
Yeah, like, exactly. So yeah, Alan, I fucking love Alan. You know, we're still good friends. He's in a band called 700 Club. They were actually pretty badass too, and they're out in Palmdale.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, that was the homie Alan who did all that for us.
Oh, that's so cool. So like you started playing in the band or whatever with your homies and then your brother, and like when did you start noticing, like how'd you like get started like playing like shows to like for a scene, you know? Like how'd you get into like the scene back in those days?
Man, these questions are kind of hard because like my memory's so foggy. Like I've been concussed a few times, and back then I used to be a piece of shit. I wasn't like really like proud of who I was.
Yeah.
I mean now I could say that I am a little bit more proud of who I am, but I don't know. Like I think it was more Diego, because he went to Franklin. He went to like the public high school here.
Oh, gotcha.
And so he's like, hey, I have friends that like play music in backyards, and a bunch of people show up and they like give you free beer, you know?
Oh, gotcha.
And I was like, hey, that sounds kind of fucking cool. Let's try it out. So I don't even remember what our first show was. Like technically our first show was at Ramona Hall. For that like Nirvana cover fucking song. But I don't remember like our first show at all. But it had to be Diego that fucking like lured us into that.
Gotcha.
Because he went to Franklin and he hung out with like the punks and the fucking cholos.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
So like that crowd kind of clicked a little bit.
You got into the street punk stuff.
Exactly.
Through that, yeah.
And so yeah, we would just like show up at homes and just play.
Nice. That's fucking sick. All right, we're gonna have a session. Maybe I'll film Nick do a kickflip, and then we'll get back to you about more like modern day Runts and stuff like that, and the tour and all that stuff. Sick. So we'll be right back. All right, he just tried some kickflips up the Eurogap. Maybe we'll get that on film in a little bit.
Hell yeah.
But we'll get back into it. So the Runts, they're doing good back in the mid 2000s, whatever. Mm-hmm. It's on. So then what spurs this, how long was it? 7-year hiatus, 8-year hiatus?
Yeah, it was like, I think we stopped. I mean, my dates are always like a little off, but I think it was around like 2012 when we kind of like took a hiatus. So it was like the running joke was like my brother wanted to better himself and went to college.
Oh, God.
So, you know, he's the original drummer. He went to college, and that kind of like hampered us down a little bit. But I mean, we found some people like, you know, who replaced him that did really, really well. You know, Brian was one of them. He worked out really well for a long ass time. But then, yeah, after that, it was kind of just like, you know, two of the guys got into drugs heavily.
Oh, gotcha.
And so that didn't help our position so much. And I think everybody kind of like at the time took it like to their head. So they had like this little like fucking rock star attitude. And I wasn't about that. So we kind of just took a pause, right?
Oh, gotcha.
Right before the pandemic hit in 2020, I don't know, I had like, I mean, I'm 32, right? So I had like a quarter life crisis. I'm hoping that, or a third life crisis.
Third life crisis, yeah.
I'm hoping I can make it to 100 something.
Oh, that'd be sick.
But yeah, I just had this like fucking urge to like make music again. It was such a creative outlet. You know, like I had finished college. I have my dream job. You know, I had bought a house. I was working on a family. And so I was just looking for something a little bit more, I guess. Just so that I had my own identity, you know?
Yeah.
And so I hit up all the original members, and one of them was down. And so we started working on, you know, getting back together. We weren't necessarily concerned with writing anything new just yet. Like, we just wanted to see if it would kind of work out.
Totally.
Like, there was really no plan or agenda. We were just, I don't know. But yeah, so like we had that first show at G Park where we're at right now in September of 2020 with Barrage, Violife.
Oh yeah, it's a great lineup.
Yeah, hell yeah. The G Park Lokes helped out on that one. Richie, Chase, Belin. I just have to give them a shout out just because they're my friends.
Shout out.
But yeah, after that, I think, so that was like our first show back. And, you know, I expected a lot of people to be there because it was like, you know, not that we're necessarily good, just that I expected like the nostalgia. Like, we have a lot of friends that we made throughout the Runts when we were kids. And a lot of those people live in Northeast LA, like Highland Park and stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are still here. And so it was just like a nice way. It was like a big ass reunion for all of us. But when we did that show, I think maybe like 700, 800 people showed up.
Yeah, it's on the video. It's sick.
It was kind of ridiculous. It blew my fucking mind. Blew my mind. And I just remember playing that night and having so much fun. Just like all that hard work that we had been working on for months. Organizing this show during COVID, while it wasn't the best thing to do, you know, I understand. But yeah, after that, you know, we kind of like took it a little bit more seriously. Not like it's, you know, it's going to be our jobs or anything like that.
Yeah.
But just that it's like, well, you know, let's see what we can do.
Just
with
something
this.
fun to do, you know?
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, that was pretty much it.
So how'd you like go about like finding like new members? Because obviously no original members except for you are in the band right now. So how did all like the members that are in the band now, how did they all come into the picture?
Sure. So when we first started, it was Charles. A lot of people think he's the original bass player. It's actually Diego, but Charles was in the Runts for the longer amount of time.
Yeah, he's the dude with the glasses, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, he's ripped.
So him and myself were starting it back up with Brian, who came to replace my brother after he left drums.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so it was us three, and we needed a guitarist. So we had like this like bullshit tryout just to like, you know, have fun with it.
Yeah.
And like we had a tryout. I think maybe like 10 people showed up.
Oh, nice.
To like the studio to try out. And, you know, everyone did really, really well. Except Cameron, I think he came in a little late. And he was the last one to like, you know, try out or whatever.
Yeah.
And so we were having everyone do like Zombie Cops and Pharmacy Party.
Oh, nice.
And when he came up to the mic, he was like, can I also sing the parts that Andrew would sing? And we were like, dude, what? Hell yeah.
How'd you know that?
Exactly. Like, we never published our lyrics until recently, like maybe 2 months ago.
Yep.
So like that was fascinating to me because
it's fascinating to me.
Yeah. Like when I see people like sing our lyrics back to us when we're playing, I'm like, damn, they really have to listen hard.
Yeah, I know.
To like get that.
For sure.
You know? But yeah, that's how. So after that, Cameron came in the band. And yeah, we just started working from there. I mean, there's been a few changes since then. Brian ended up leaving at the end of 2020, and we have Eddie now. And yeah, that's it for now.
I had a question. Sure. Is Isaac playing with you guys now? Because he did that tour with you guys.
Yeah, he just came on the tour, so that's kind of up in the air actually right now. We still need to have like a discussion between ourselves. But Isaac is technically not in the Runts. He just came to support.
And he's your guys' friend too.
Exactly, and he knew that, like he understood that.
Yeah.
But he came to help us out. Fred had some personal issues that he had to work through.
Oh, gotcha.
And so, that's why we went with Isaac on the tour. That's a question we're getting a lot, and I understand too. But yeah, no final decisions have been made. Like, we're all still working it out.
Yeah, totally. I feel that. So, it's 2020. You guys, obviously, 2020 comes to an end, and then 2021 starts up, and you guys start playing some pretty massive shows right off the bat. Like, I know you guys were playing like some of those DIY like pop-up shows in like, what is it, like February and then like February, early March. I remember April. I was in a band that played with you guys and you asked us to play.
Hell yeah, the Echo Park one.
The Echo Park one, yeah. And that was the first time I heard about you guys, and then I checked you guys out after, and I was like, all these bands are fucking sick.
Hell yeah, that's sick.
So like, how'd you guys start like playing those like big DIY like pop-up shows, and what do you think like escalated them to like the level that they are now? Because I mean, obviously people come out to those and there's like, I don't know, maybe like a couple thousand people probably at certain ones,
So the first one was that G Park one that kind of kicked it off. After that, someone from Dead City approached us to like start throwing shows like that more often. And so we started working with them on doing that for a little bit. I think they became so popular because at the time, right, it was during the pandemic, so there weren't a lot of options for people. And I think, being housed up for quite some time, people had a lot of frustration or anxiety. Yeah, like it didn't matter if they were like punks or skaters or fucking
cholos.
Yeah, cholos or fucking hip hop kids or whatever. Like hipsters were fucking showing up to these fucking things.
Totally.
Random ass people.
I mean, like I heard like Paris Jackson was at like the Lafayette show or something that.
Yeah, she started following some of us after that, like Nacho.
That's
like,
crazy.
It's crazy. Like that's actually how we got on tour with the Garden, was that Lafayette show. But yeah, I think they were just popular because it was the only thing to do at the time.
And they got big.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a trip looking at some of those videos.
It's a place where, you can go out, get some aggression or frustration out, not suffer too many consequences.
No, exactly.
And then jump back into your everyday normal life.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you'll get pushed down in the pit or something, whatever. Someone will pick you up. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
But, yeah, come out to, like, if anyone... Oh, they've got is it a DIY show this Saturday that you guys are playing? So, yeah. Come out to this. Go check out their Instagram page for details, and Nacho and Roman Dangerfield's page as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So you guys are playing those like big DIY pop-up shows or whatever, and then I heard that like Fletcher from the Garden was moshing to like your guys' music at that Lafayette show, which is like pretty crazy to me. Like, is that like, how did that relationship with the Garden like originate, I guess? So
Fletcher lives in Koreatown. I won't give away his address, but I'm just kidding. After that tour with them, we became like, friends, so it's all awesome. But so he was like, I guess he was drunk that night, just kind of walking around, and he heard the show or like saw something about it and decided to just kind of go. And at the time, we were playing, and so I remember like I've been a fan for the Garden for some time, but I remember like seeing my phone get a notification, and it's like Fletcher Shears is following. I was like, what the fuck?
That's crazy.
It was crazy. So okay, so that was that, right? He came to our show. That didn't necessarily like, it kind of kicked things off, right? So then our other homie, Tom Knucklehead, he's
shout out.
He's like in Muay Thai, he's like a personal trainer for a lot of people.
Yep.
So I saw a picture with him and the twins, and I was like, holy shit, like I fucking love their music, you know? So, he like, gave us a shout out to them. And I guess when they were discussing with him, like, yeah, we're going on a tour and we're bringing a bunch of punk bands, he was like, you should bring the Runts. And Fletcher and Wyatt were like, that makes sense. Let's fucking bring them.
Totally.
And that's how it happened. Like, not because, like, you know, people think we're good or decent at making music or whatever. Like, it's still hard for me to accept, because I think there's a million greater bands, right? But it really is luck.
Yeah.
Like, luck
at
that
the end
brings,
of the day.
exactly. It's luck that, I mean, yeah, you have to have some skill. You need to be persistent. You know, you need to, like, I don't know.
And the relationships you build along the way are really important too, like
us,
with Tom Tom and stuff like that.
I mean, for us, I think it's a luck of, like, you know, the songs are nostalgic. We try to be as humble as possible. You know, we don't like necessarily feel like we deserve to be where we're at now. And that's like not even saying like we're nowhere near any like level of like fame or popularity, but like it's come to the point where I'll go to bars and like I'll see people wearing our shirts.
That's a trip, I bet.
Dude, it's crazy. It's like the greatest feeling ever. It's just like, damn, these people are invested in us.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a combination of all those things.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. I've been a fan of you guys for like a while now, and I could definitely see why people would get invested in like your guys' like shit, because it really is good, man. I mean, all the music and shit, there's some really good stuff in there, man. And I don't know, and I think the lyrics and all that sort of thing kind of reflected where you guys were at in that point in time, and I think a lot of people can like relate to that on some level, you know, because everyone's kind of like a little scumbag shithead at some point in their life, you know. Of course.
So some more than others.
for sure. And then I'm sure like now, like when you put out new music, it's gonna be the same reaction, you know.
Yeah, of course.
You guys are authentic. You guys are definitely an authentic, super authentic band.
Dude, thank you.
And it's awesome.
Yeah, we're making new music right now. We have like 6 songs. They're not finalized. Maybe like 3 of them are.
Mm-hmm. Do you play one of them? Do you play one of them live? One of the new ones live?
Start.
Yeah, that's like the one that's like dun, 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 dun. Okay.
Everybody keeps. That's why I'm excited about like. So like, you know, we decided to like fucking hunker down a little bit and just work on writing new music, because everything that's online is stuff from 10 years ago.
Yeah,
you know.
It's
so
old.
It's like it's old. You know, it's getting repetitive. And we're starting to see that and feel that too when we play it, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, these new songs are fucking dope. I'm really excited about it because it's like more of like adult pop. It's like more mature, you know? Like
more mature music.
Yeah. Like a lot of people like to, I don't know. We'll just have to wait till we put it out. But it's like a little bit more aggressive, darker, mature, and the lyrics aren't so fucking dumb like Alcohol for All, you know? Like, yeah, party.
Yeah, totally. I got you.
It's like meaningful stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? And that's primarily, like, again, right? That's primarily why, like, we're a band now, is to use whatever platform we're afforded for good.
Yeah.
You know, punk is political. Any other band that tells you that ends up being like a boomer Trump punk. You know.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
Like, the signs are all fucking there.
Yeah, they all point to that. I also saw, like, you did an interview earlier this year, and I guess I saw that you said you held these, like, new songs to, like, a very high standard, and it took a long time to, like get there. What was, like, that songwriting process for you guys? Like,
man, it was really frustrating at first, you know, because, like, you know, because I'm the only original member, like, the guys kind of felt like I had some, like, leadership role. Or, like, I had a veto power, you know? But I told everybody from the beginning, like, yo, this is all of us as friends making music. Like, it's not the Runts. We're not a fucking business. Like,
no.
I'm not a CEO. Like,
no, totally.
Like, or a boss of any kind. Like, we're here to make music that we enjoy. And if we can get behind it, then other people will too.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
And I think as long as, like, we demonstrate ourselves as, like, humble people who are still just, like, excited to make music, then people will fuck with us still. Like, that was one thing when we were on tour with The Garden. I remember every night being on stage and there'd be like hundreds of fucking people.
Yeah.
And I would like turn around and look at Eddie and be like, bro, we're fucking playing music in front of all these fucking people. It's crazy to me.
I know, right?
It was crazy. But yeah, like, at first it was really hard because, you know, the guys would be really scared to like show stuff at practice. And like now we have this policy where, you know, we have to always be honest with each other but respectful, you know. You can't be like, oh bro, that fucking song sucks, you know. Like, hey, I think that song is good but not maybe our style, you know. Like, we're being honest with each other.
Or you can make like adjustments and stuff like that, you know.
Exactly. But you know, it kind of didn't help that like I was still trying to find the identity for the band too. And like, you know, we would like fucking like, you know, write music, and then I'd be listening to a band that I liked, and be like, oh, we gotta sound like them. And then like next week I'd be like listening to another band.
Something else.
Oh, we gotta sound like them.
Yeah.
You know? And then at the end of it, I'm like, you know what?
Fuck it.
Like they're there because they're doing their shit.
Uh-huh.
We need to do our own shit.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? So more recently, like the last 2 months, it's been really fucking positive. We just show up to practice. You know, if we have a show that week, or like before we went on tour, we would practice the old set.
Mm-hmm.
But if not, we would just like drink a few beers, smoke a blunt, and then just start just play music. And if a riff sounded sick, then everybody would stop and be like, oh,
let's build off that.
That sounds fucking sick. Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of how it worked out.
That's rad. So what like went into like the tour with the Garden? Like what were like the logistics of it? Did you guys have to like haul all your own gear yourselves, or did you have to like pay, like how did all that work? Like what went into that?
So that was like a huge learning experience because, you know, and this is not to fault anybody, like, you know, the Garden, by most people's definition, like made it, you know, like
exactly.
They gotta fucking play music for a living,
and they make like and bank off of it, you know?
Exactly. And they, at that point, they have to, right? Because that's how they live. They're not like rich motherfuckers, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they make enough to play music,
pay rent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you know, a lot of it like was kind of left up to us. I remember like their manager, he was like, so we need a rider and an input list from you guys. And I don't know what the fuck a rider was, you know? So like for those that don't know, a rider is like a list of things that you'd want in your green room every time you show up.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like, I'm like, man, I don't know. So like, you know, we're pretty simple folks, right? So I was like, a case of water and 2 18-packs of Modelo. And then, you know, I was like, man, maybe let's get a little fancy.
Let's milk it a little bit.
Well, I was like, can I say cans only? And like their manager was like, yeah, of course you can say cans only. Because I fucking hate the glass bottles because I can't throw them into the crowd.
Oh, yes.
So every time we showed up backstage, we'd have that, you know. But we had to figure out our own transportation. We had to haul all our own gear. It was like sometimes more work than fun. But that, not to diminish the experience, because it was more learning for us. But it's like, drive 8 hours, load in, sound check, set up your merch table, play your set, go talk to fans, go make some new fans, you know, hang out with the Garden, like, let's all be friends, like, make it easy so we're not like, you know.
It's not like your camp and their camp.
Exactly, yeah. I don't want that at all. Like, I wanted it to be like family, and it ended up being that way. Like, they're our homies now. We have each other's phone numbers, even all the guys that they brought, because they have like, they had like a guitar tech, like a stage coordinator. They had a tour manager. They had their own audio guy. They had their own merch person, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've got like a team of people.
Exactly, you know? So like I learned, okay, well next time when we do this, then we're going to need to bring a little bit of a team too. Not like to the extent where they had it, but like, you know, maybe one of our friends wants to go on a 2-week vacation and go check out some fucking cities and get paid to go do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's a sick-ass experience, you know? But yeah, we had a lot of questions in the beginning, and it was tough, and it was very fucking stressful because, like, I had everything lined up, and we had... then we got added to a few more dates.
Yeah, I saw that.
That threw a curveball to us because we had like everything rented out already.
Oh,
you know, so I had to figure out those
scheduling
logistics
and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fucking crazy. Did anything like go wrong on the like significantly? Not like significantly. It could even be like little things, or did everything like run smoothly and according to plan?
Everything ran so fucking smoothly. It was phenomenal. It was like, you know, if I never had the ability to tour again, I can just say, like, I made it. Like, that was my goal, to, like, go support a band like them.
That you like?
Yeah, exactly. And, like, play music for hundreds of people every night. Mm-hmm. Like, that was amazing. And they fucking loved it, too, which was even better.
I know, that was crazy.
Like,
I see the Instagram videos.
I mean,
gnarly.
People were singing our songs, and we've never been to that fucking city before.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
That's a trip.
I remember one time, it was in Denver, Colorado. We were backstage. We had just gone to Home Depot to make our own banner because we noticed that like the Garden had theirs and it was sick.
Yeah.
And we're like, fuck, we need something too. So we went to Home Depot, we got a roller, and we just painted like Eddie, you know, because he's
the artist or whatever.
Yeah, he painted the Runts on a canvas. And we hung it up in Denver, Colorado. It was the first city we hung it up in. And we're backstage, you know, drinking our beers. and I'm with Danny Dobbins just sitting, and I was with I was with Tommy as well. We were just sitting there, right? Tommy's like the guitar tech and like stage coordinator for the garden. But we hear Runts, 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 like fucking hundreds of people yelling our name, and I was like, damn, that's fucking crazy.
So cool.
You know, so like that was like a really surreal moment. There's nothing nothing went wrong. Maybe like I didn't get to sleep as much as I wanted to, you know?
Yeah.
Because we'd have to wake up and fucking like drive to the next town or city, but nothing went wrong. It was phenomenal. Like I'm still on fucking cloud 9. I've only been home for a couple of days. I still haven't processed it yet, you know?
Yeah, because the experience is crazy.
Yeah, like I've talked about it a lot already with a lot of my friends who wanted to catch up and stuff, but I haven't like sat down or laid down in my bed and just kind of stared at the ceiling and kind of
just thought about it.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't done that part yet.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Okay, so someone had a question.
Sure.
What city do you think went the hardest? Like in terms of the energy they gave you?
I think Chicago did.
Yeah?
Yeah, there was a lot of people there. And like, you know, Chicago's used to a lot of like music, so they kind of like, you know, were amped up already. It was kind of crazy. But yeah, Chicago, that was one of the bigger shows too.
Yeah, exactly. That's insane. I'm still tripping out about that you guys went on tour with the Garden. That's
me too, man. Me fucking too. When they get back, I'm gonna play hockey with them.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I already told them we're gonna drop the gloves. Knucklehead Tom's gonna fucking show me how to fight, you know?
Oh yeah, hell yeah, yeah. I was thinking about getting into Muay Thai and all that shit myself. Exactly. Yeah. That's so cool. So I think to wrap it up, like, what sort of plans you guys got for 2022? Is it like a tour plan that you guys want to do, or like new merch designs? When should we expect new music? All that sort of thing. Like,
so I do want to do new merch, but I'm being like a little like picky because I wanted to like support our album. So the major plan of 2022 is to release our new music. We're aiming at 12 new songs and doing a full length. So obviously we want to like tour to support that. We've been talking to a few bands right now. I don't want to say any bands yet, just in case like it doesn't happen. But bands that like we're excited for to go on tour with. So those two things are probably the biggest. I know we're going to Mexico with Self Sabotage.
Oh, that's rad.
Yeah, from February 17th to the 21st. After that, we're gonna plan our own West Coast tour.
Hell yeah!
In the spring, or maybe because I'm going to Spain for like 2 weeks next year. That. Like personal shit.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, we're gonna probably do 2 weeks on the West Coast, and then 2 weeks on the East Coast, kind of Midwest, like get some of those cities again.
Yeah.
Split it up that way. But yeah, those are the major plans.
Sick. All right. Well, that was the interview with Nick. I hope you guys enjoyed.
You too. Listen to the Runts.
Listen to the Runts. Yeah. Do you want to shout anybody out?
And there's a huge list. Everybody knows who needs to like be shouted out. You know
who you are.
Yeah, you know who you are. Thank you for everything, man. We appreciate you all.
Yeah. Hell yeah. All right. This is signing out.
Hell yeah.
What's better?